Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Kelly Ripa had spent her entire career mastering the art of holding it together. Live television didn't allow for long pauses or private moments. It required composure, rhythm, brightness, and a smile that could hold the room, even on days she felt like the world was shaking beneath her feet. But on that morning, under the hot studio lights, facing an audience that expected energy and laughter, Kelly felt something inside her break. Mark knew it before anyone else did. He knew it the second she stepped from the hallway into the backstage area, her script cradled in her hands like she didn't remember picking it up. Her eyes were glossy, unfocused, flickering with something deeper than nerves. And before she could even greet him the way she usually did, soft smile, teasing remark, or a light squeeze of his arm, she stumbled. "Kel," he whispered, reaching for her. She didn't answer. Instead, she closed her eyes, inhaled sharply, and forced herself upright again. For a second, Mark thought she might regain her footing. But then she opened her eyes, and he could see the truth written across them. She wasn't okay. And she had no idea how to hide it. The show was starting in 8 minutes. Producers hurried past, adjusting earpieces and reviewing segment notes. Camera operators made tiny tweaks to their equipment. The warm-up comedian tried to energize the audience. Everything moved at the usual electric pace. But in the center of it all, Kelly stood frozen, her shoulders rising and falling in shallow breaths. "Talk to me," Mark said gently as he guided her into a quieter corner backstage. Kelly pressed her fingers to her forehead. I don't know what's wrong," she said, her voice trembling. "I woke up feeling off, and then everything just built up and now I can't." She shook her head, unable to finish. Mark took her hand. "It's okay. You don't have to explain it." But Kelly shook her head harder this time. "No, I do. I have to be ready in a few minutes. People are expecting me to walk out there and be me. I can't fall apart." And then, to her own shock, she did. A tear slipped down her cheek, followed by another, and another. Within seconds, she was crying, soft at first, like she still believed she could stop it. But then her breath caught, and all the emotion she'd neatly packaged away over months began to crash through her like a storm that had finally reached land. Mark pulled her into a hug without hesitation, his arms wrapped around her like a shield, grounding her as she trembled against him. "It's okay," he whispered. "Cry. I've got you." And she did. She cried in a way she hadn't cried in years, honestly, fully, without restraint. Not for show, not for sympathy, not for drama, but because she had spent too long being strong for everyone else. But they were still minutes from going live. One of the producers approached nervously, glancing between the couple. "We're about to start," she said softly. "Should we delay?" Kelly wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "No, I can do it." "No," Mark said firmly, still rubbing her back. "You don't have to." "I do," Kelly insisted. "If I don't go out there, everyone will think something terrible happened." Mark met her eyes. "Something is happening. You're overwhelmed. That's not nothing." Kelly exhaled, breathing out years of pressure. "It's just life," she whispered. "It's been so much. The kids getting older, the schedule, work, everything. I feel like I'm running in every direction, and I never give myself a second to stop," she sniffled. "And I think today, my body finally forced me to." Mark kissed the side of her forehead. "So let yourself stop. If not today, when?" Kelly looked down. She could feel the answer settling inside her like a truth she had ignored for too long. The show started without them. Producers scrambled, quickly rearranging segments, cueing extra music, and extending the opening monologue with the warm-up comedian. The audience buzzed with confusion, whispers spreading like wildfire. "Where's Kelly? Why isn't the show starting normally? Is something wrong?" The tension doubled when the studio camera caught something unexpected: Mark stepping onto the stage alone. "This is unusual," the announcer joked into the microphone, trying to lighten the mood. But Mark's expression didn't match the energy they expected. His jaw was set, his eyes warm but serious. The audience went silent. And then, millions of viewers at home watched as Mark leaned toward the microphone and said, "We're going to be honest with you today." The internet exploded within seconds. Clips hit social media instantly. Mark comes out alone. What happened to Kelly? Fans shocked as live show opens without Kelly Ripa. Emotional moment unfolds on Live with Kelly and Mark. Viewers watched with rapt attention as Mark continued. Kelly needed a few minutes, he said. She's okay, but she's human, and humans have days. Some days are heavier than others, so while she takes a breath, we're going to take a breath with her. The audience applauded softly, moved by his sincerity. Backstage, Kelly watched the monitors, her eyes widening. She hadn't expected him to speak about her emotional moment. She thought he would cover for her, invent a light excuse, traffic, wardrobe, something simple. But instead, he chose honesty. And not the harsh kind, the gentle kind. The kind that made her feel cared for, not exposed. Mark returned backstage a moment later. Kelly stood where he had left her, hands clasped under her chin, eyes glossy again, but for a different reason. You told them, she whispered. I didn't tell them everything, he said softly. Just the part that mattered, that you're human, and that you deserve some grace. Kelly stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him again, this time not out of collapse but gratitude. I love you, she murmured into his shoulder. I know, he replied softly. I love you too. A few minutes later, Kelly walked out on stage. The audience rose in a standing ovation, not because she asked for it, not because she performed for it, but because her vulnerability touched them. She sat beside Mark, still visibly emotional. She dabbed her eyes, took a deep breath, and said, Thank you for your patience. I had a moment, a real one, and I didn't realize how close I was to needing it. The room was completely still. The cameras were rolling. Millions were watching. And Kelly Ripa, known for her quick wit, bright energy, and unshakable composure, chose honesty over performance. I think sometimes we forget that being strong doesn't mean being perfect, she continued. Sometimes it means admitting when you're overwhelmed, and I was. Mark placed a hand on hers. She smiled at him, then at the audience. I'm going to be okay, she said. But thank you for letting me take a second. The applause was thunderous. After the show, fans flooded social media with messages of support. Not headlines, not gossip, not drama, but love. Kelly, you're not alone. Thank you for being human with us. Mark handled that beautifully. We're here for you, Kelly. And for the first time in a long time, Kelly logged off the frantic pace of her life and simply sat with herself, quietly, gently, without judgment. Mark sat beside her, taking her hand as they settled into the couch at home. You know, she said softly, I didn't realize how much I needed someone to tell me it was okay to stop. Mark squeezed her fingers. It's always okay to stop, Kel, especially when you're carrying everything. She leaned her head on his shoulder. For the first time in weeks, maybe months, she felt like she could breathe again. Not for the cameras, not for the show, not for the world, but for herself. And that, more than anything, was the moment that shocked fans the most. Not that she broke down, but that she finally let herself be human.